thought we would make the announcement about our motion here, because this, folks, if you want to look around you, is the National Monument. This is the state's tribute to the men and women of 1916, who, when they evacuated the GPO, came along here, and 300 men and women occupied this terrace. And it was the last meeting of the provisional government, which was declared when the Republic was proclaimed. And James Connolly and Patrick Pearse and Tom Clark and the rest of them decided that they would surrender. And then Patrick Pearse made his way up beyond the British Army barricade, which was then at the top of Moore Street. And that's the famous photograph where he handed over the surrender notice. Farther round at the other side of the monument, the other side of O'Connell Street, is Tom Clark's old tobacconist shop, which was an unofficial HQ for the Fenians and for the IRB and the volunteers. But it's hidden behind plastic. It's a supermarket. It's plastic and neon and all of that. And what the families of the signatories of the 1916 proclamation want, and it was they who put together the motion, and 50 opposition TDs are supporting the motion, and we're looking for the government to support the motion as well. And what it calls for is that this terrace and these laneways, which the Taoiseach once described as the lanes of history, are designated as a historical quarter, and that people will be able to walk this district, that it will be good for our heritage, for our education, that we teach our young people and everyone else, but also in terms of the development of this part of Dublin and the capital as well, that can become a tourist and an economic entity in its own right. So this is Fionnula Flanagan, who is well known, universally acclaimed actress, and she very much supports the position being put by the families of the men and women of 1916. And we're debating this motion next Tuesday and Wednesday in the Dáil.
I'm here because I believe that it's very important to preserve, to rescue and preserve as a national heritage site these buildings where the men and women of 1916 spent their last live hours. These are the people who died to give us a proclamation of a republic. And that's important because it not only was for us, but it inspired countries around the world to strike out for their freedom from the British Empire of the time. And I think it's terribly important that we preserve that, and that we not make the mistake that the Dublin Corporation made by burying a Viking village. You know, the Vikings came and brought us a lot, but you know, they came as invaders. These people were Irish men and women, and they gave their lives to give us what they gave us in the proclamation. And so this should be preserved, and the only way to preserve anything these days is to make it viable for young people. You know, and I don't think we need another mall in Ireland. You know, enough with the mauling of Ireland. Let's have something that's worth preserving. That's why I'm here today. Plus, I happen to think that the traders in this street need to be part. They are part of our cultural history. They're part of, you know, the people. They fed the poor. We bought vegetables and apples and oranges here when I was a kid because this was the best bargain in town. And these people have been here for generations. These mostly women working away at these stalls. This is part of our cultural heritage, and this should be preserved and should be incorporated into the whole thing, and could be done very well done, if the government would step up to the plate, which I do hope they will.
We're standing outside numbers 14, 15, 16 and 17 Moore Street. It's the 1916 National Monument. It was designated in 2007 in honour of the men and women of 1916. The entire terrace was occupied upon evacuation of the GPO by volunteers. 300 volunteers occupied this terrace, and these buildings, the entire terrace, became the last headquarters of the provisional government in 1916. Our aim is to see the terrace restored, conserved, and the entire area developed as a cultural historic quarter as we approach the centenary of the pivotal event in our history, the event that led directly to our independence.